Hi everyone, this is Dan and the future holds crypto. So as you can see, I said that in this video I'm gonna also add my webcam stream in the corner of the video. So hey, this is me. Other than that, let's have a look on the market today. So it looks good. It's green, a lot of green everywhere. If we're gonna look on the 24 hours change, we have a 22.6 increase for Bitcoin, a 4.81 increase for Ethereum. Tether, we don't care, it's a stable coin, printed whatever. XRP almost 1%. I don't 1.78 for Bitcoin Cash. Don't really care about Bitcoin Cash. I don't understand it very well in terms of what the utility it brings compared to the others. Chainlink, a whopping 9.6% today, almost. Polkadot, 3.19. Cardano, 6%, not bad at all. And Litecoin, 1.66. But you can see here that on a 7-day, it was actually the increases were actually bigger. So we have more than 8% for Bitcoin, 11% for Ethereum, only 3% for XRP. You know that XRP it's a lag. It usually lags, and when it explodes, and there are a lot of bullish indicators there. But we'll see. With Chainlink, it's a whopping 22%. Polkadot 485, Cardano 16%. So yeah, by the way, I have a good feeling about Cardano. It was already a 15 cents more than, I don't know, in August. So I don't see why it cannot go back there and regain. It already regained it re-entered the top 10, and I believe that probably it might have a good chance to come closer to the 4th place. But it has some competition there now. I mean, before it was only Bitcoin Cash and Binance Coin, which I didn't consider really a big competition, but now it has Polkadot and Chainlink, which are really nice projects both. And it will be interesting to see how these three actually play along with each other. So yeah, that's it on the day. Now let's look on the indicators from Trading Central. So we see here for Bitcoin on a 30-minute chart. It shows that it has a potential to go to $11,900. So that's a good increase there. If we go on one day, it says $12,470. I watched yesterday and it was a little more bullish than today. It showed more than $13,400, something like that. It was actually very bullish. Interesting to see it, and it kept like that for a couple of days. And now I see that it on a one-day chart, the prediction actually decreased a little bit compared to what we saw the other days. By the way, there are a lot of analysts here that are looking on the chart and say that Bitcoin has the potential of reaching all-time high actually quite fast, and it makes sense because if you look here on the graph, it seems that we have two big resistances, and the first one is around the price of $12,000, and we have reached this one a couple of times already. And even recently, look here, we actually bounced from it a couple of times. I mean, 1, 2. 2 times we went over it, and then we went back. So basically it's around 6 times. We might try it again, but let's see if it breaks. It will be interesting because after that, the next one is it doesn't seem to have a lot of resistance here. I mean, if we break 320 or that barrier, if we go more than 1300 and $500,000 and $500, $13,500. Sorry, it's late here. So if we go above that, it will actually be easy to reach all-time high again. And remember here that when things go up, they go up fast. Even look at this one as well. So when things go up, they go up fast. So we do have a chance to do that. And you know that we talked about market cycles, and there are more theories here. I do think that the market cycles are related to the Bitcoin halving events. There is the theory that it's the next one will be it's really it's a 4-year cycle, something like that. So if we look here, we had the last one in 2017. So basically we had a bear market, went down to here. It's 1 year, and then we have the accumulation phase, and then another year for a bull market. So it will be 1 year, 2 years, 3 years. So it's around basically we have a chance of the end of December 2021 for the next all-time high. But there are other theories that says that because the Bitcoin is evolving, and as a market, the length of the cycles are growing. So there are some people that say that to 2022 or 2023 it will be interesting to see how it goes, but you have to expect both situations or both possibilities, not to be disappointed or have false expectations. It's 1 or 2 years difference is not that much compared to other markets, and also it's a very good opportunity. You've seen what happened in the past. I've also showed you the potential of crypto, because people are saying that the market cap is also already too big. You can watch my video on world money, and it's very important to watch that video, because if you look at the market cycle, you'll have the feeling that we already are very big numbers. We're talking about billions and billions, and for us mortals it's it seems like a lot, but if you look on the world money, you'll see that this market cap is actually a very, very small blip on the entire radar on the world's money. So it's really, we have a long way to go and a lot of potential. Don't worry about the market cap. We still have a lot of potential, even if it's a little bit, it might be a little bit further. However, if we reach all-time high soon, like December 2020, it might show that we do have a chance for the new all-time high in the bull market to happen in 2021. To be interesting. Wehowever, still bear in mind that we are still in a very interesting position on a global scale. We have not escaped the problem with the pandemic. The governments are still printing money. So I also showed you another video about market cycles and different theories there, and it might be the case that this triggers a very big economical crisis. There's another theory that says that if we're still printing money, basically we do have a chance to extend the bubble. So the hyper bubble can have, BC Backer said this, that we might have a chance to extend this bubble with another few cycles, like 4 cycles, and by the end of this decade we can have a really breakdown, or one big breakdown at one point. But we do have a chance of continuing the hyper bubble, so we'll have to see. However, keep that in mind. All this cycle might change because of the global situations of the global economical situation, but and also there are too many variables here, because this might also be favoring crypto, because we have seen cryptocurrency this and we also talked about decoupling of crypto. At this moment we have seen that with very big movements, with the black swan event, cryptocurrency was actually coupled with the stock market, and when we had the very big fall in March in the stock market, we also experienced this in Bitcoin and the cryptocurrency in general. So that's important to see that with big events, the correlation is still there, and we've seen that the correlation now it's at all-time high compared to the stock market. I do believe it's going to decouple. So basically, if we have an economical crisis, it might also be the case for the cryptocurrency to actually decouple and be a positive case for crypto in general, even if for the entire world it actually be bad. So yeah, these are some variables, some possibility that you have to keep in mind. Be prepared psychologically. Think long term. Don't invest and expect that in a couple of months you're going to be a millionaire, because you have to have realistic expectations, and you have to learn a little bit about the market and what it means to invest here and in the projects that you're investing here overall. So yeah, that's it for Bitcoin. But let's go with the other indicator. We have the Ethereum. It's the 30 minutes. It says that the chart forecast is for $447 and $493. The 1 day chart. No, that was the 1 day chart. This is the 30 minutes chart. It's it shows that it will go at $409. It's still bullish. If we look at XRP, the 30-minute chart, it shows that it will go to 26 cents, almost 27. On the 1 day chart, it shows that it will go to 33 cents. Let's go to S&P 500. 30-minute chart will go to. It shows that it will go to $3,700. That's the 1 day, and the 30-minute chart, it shows $3,600. So still looks good. The 30 minutes for Dow Jones, $29,390. The 1 day, it's 30,000, almost $31,000. So it's still well, not dollars, but in the 30,800. So the market indicators still look bullish at this point. It's interesting to see, because everybody was complaining about bloody October. So we'll have to see what happened what happens in October still, and this will be very interesting to see what will happen after the election. And by the way, I don't know why I was looking at the mic. The camera is here, so hey. Okay, so please bear in mind that this is not financial advice. I'm very passionate about this sector, the crypto sector, but this is not financial advice. I'm learning, and I'm learning with you here. I'm trying to expose my view on the situation, so don't buy or do anything because you have seen anything on my channel, but do your own research. It's very important to do your own research and not from only one source. Try to find more sources to be closer to the truth, and to actually make your own perspective, your own, to have your own opinion. It's important, because based on that you can create your strategy, and you have to stick with it. By the way, remember, don't let your emotion get the best out of you. Don't buy high, sell low. That's what the majority of people do, and that's how they lose money. I told you that I actually went I entered this market into late 2017, and I actually bought high. Because I entered with the fear of missing out, I said most people do, and since then I think that I learned a lot, because I said I at least I wanted to go long term. I didn't say that I'm gonna invest this, I'm gonna be rich overnight. I had realistic expectations in terms of I didn't invest much, but I said okay, it's for the long term. I want be expecting that next month I'm gonna be a millionaire, and also I didn't sell low. So I learned more. I tried to understand this market better, this sector entirely, and it's been fun. I mean, it's really a lot of passionate people, a lot of things happening every day. It's funny how if you have 1 week or 2 weeks with stable price, people are starting to get bored. Like, what is this? Nothing happens. We don't have any news. The price is the same. What is this? We want at least swings, even if it goes down a little bit. We don't care. Just do something. So yeah, it's been a fun ride, and I really like to keep in touch with everything that happens here, and I'm trying to expose some of the things that I see and learn from others, and I will do actually a video on the crypto YouTubers that I follow. And by the way, when we talked about market cycles and the fact that we might see a delay because of lengthening times, or maybe a global crisis or something like that, even if the global crisis might revert or help keep crypto decouple. In any case, if we have a lengthening cycle, don't wait. I mean, don't put all your hopes up in this crypto. Make every day count. Don't put all of your hopes in crypto and the expectations there, right? Invest in yourself. Use that time towards your own benefit. Try to invest in yourself, to grow yourself, because your knowledge is the most important. And actually, I like I've seen this. I've seen Ivan saying this a couple of times, and he's actually saying this very often on his channel, Ivan on Tech. So I think he's right. Okay, let's move on. We're finished here with this part, and let's go to the next subject I wanted to bring up. That we talked about the stimulus, and it's something to watch. We don't have very big news here because we didn't have a lot of movement, but we do have something did happen. I'll let Stephen Gardner have a small intro here, but I'll link this video if you want to see the whole the more details on this subject.
Staff for the White House and Steven Mnuchin, who is the Treasury Secretary, have sent a letter to Congress asking for permission to use the unspent money from the CARES Act to help Americans right now. There is over $100 billion sitting idle that was originally set aside as PPP money to help small businesses. Well, everyone who could requested money, and now there's over $100 billion that is sitting, not being used. I've been trying to research, but in my research, the Republicans are actually saying that there's almost $400 billion that is sitting, not being used. I think some of that may have been money set aside for Main Street lending to the Federal Reserve that has not been used, but I wasn't able to track down the details. But I know for certain $100 billion is just sitting. So Meadows and Mnuchin are trying to get Congress to wake up and pay attention to this money that could be used right now. Meadows and Mnuchin said, this all-or-nothing approach by Nancy Pelosi, Speaker of the House, isn't helping Americans. It's not clear how this $100 billion would be spent, but the first step is to get Congress to wake up and approve its use for the American people. So, $100 billion is a lot of money that they could be using right now. Just to give an idea, it was just over $40 billion extracted from leftover FEMA money that was used under President Trump's executive orders to give several weeks of unemployment help after negotiations broke down. Remember when Republicans and Democrats promised in July that they would pass a bill that would extend unemployment, and then they didn't? So when President Trump signed that executive order, he doesn't have authority to sign new money into existence. So he took leftover money at FEMA in order to get that $40 billion sent out. So what I'm saying is that $100 billion, it could go, go a long way. Now, also, it was around $260 billion that was used for the stimulus checks that went out direct to the American people. So some of that $100 billion or $400 billion could be used right now to send checks out to those most in need. Right now, I mean, this letter is pretty fresh, so I don't have an answer on how Congress plans to respond or if they have responded. But as I know more, I will absolutely keep the community updated on this information. But it looks like Mnuchin and Meadows are trying desperately to get permission to use this money right away. This money could also be repurposed and go out to small businesses that already got PPP money, that are fighting to stay open or are trying to reopen. Now, the Trump administration has said that the PPP program from the CARES Act saved over 50 million jobs. And I've not heard Democrats dispute that number, so I believe that is real. The only problem with the PPP money is that there are billions and billions and billions of dollars that were given to businesses that remain closed because of strict lockdowns in New York or New Jersey or North Carolina or California. And I'm not trying to knock those states. I'm just saying if the business is closed, that money is just sitting in that business's bank account. So they can't rehire and start using that money. So I don't know that they should send that money. What I'm trying to get at is I don't know that they should repurpose between $100 billion and $400 billion to more PPP money, simply because it could go out to businesses and then be locked away like the original PPP money. If money went direct to the people, I believe that money would be spent right away, right into the economy, get people caught up on bills, get people caught up on rent. So anyway, I'll keep you updated as I know more about that. But that letter, for me, is a big deal, and I'm curious how Congress will react to it.
Yeah, so this is basically after this it goes on the ping pong they're playing on the stimulus bill because nothing happened there. So this is interesting because this letter basically says that there are some unused money that they might be able to use, and probably this is maybe a backup plan that they have. Maybe they're gonna use it in October or soon. Here for a couple of weeks, this will be enough for the market, or maybe if it was for a couple of weeks for 40 billion, probably even or a month or two. So it will be interesting to watch this because this. If this goes out, it's still helpful for a couple of weeks to keep the markets up and everything. Other than that, they're still playing ping pong, political ping pong with the bill. By the way, I don't want to get into the political aspect of this, and I do think that at this point, printing money, it's not good, and I showed in the previous video the problems with printing money with the fact that it devalues your money in general, your savings money, and it can create inflation and etc. You've seen how much the dollar has devalued since the 1930s, but it seems that the system doesn't have any other backup. So if the people need it now, it's something that they don't have any other solution. So at least for the short term, it might be helpful for the people in general. However, keep in mind that this will probably have big consequences. This is it for the stimulus. Other than that, let's go with there are some on-chain. I received an email from on-chain. This basically the on-chain is presents more data directly from the blockchain, more indicates that you cannot usually find on TradingView and stuff like that. I'm not going to get too much into it because I don't have a lot of information about them. I will have to study these indicators if we want to go there, but at least we see that Glassnode Network Index has increased, and the liquidity has increased, the sentiment increased, and we see that we have the week 41 a lot of bullishness here. It also shows how it compared against dollar and other coins. This isn't actually an interesting indicator. The number of whales throughout 2020, the number of Bitcoin whales and entities holding at least 1,000 Bitcoin has been growing consistently, showing trends similar to 2012 and 2014 and 2015. However, since early September, the number of whales has actually started decreasing. The first decline since late 2019. It's interesting because we did have the peak in August, so it might be the case that it's related to the dip we had here, which also increased the crypto fear index. Let's see how much this is. Okay, we have let's put it on 1 year. I don't know why we don't have the. By the way, I love Brave browser. It's much faster than the others, but sometimes it blocks the functionalities, but it doesn't seem to be the case now. The graph doesn't seem to be working, but however we went to 52. I think it was 45 or something last week. Yesterday 55 and last week 42, last month 41, so it increased by a good amount. Going back to the article, so basically a big number of whales entities with balance more than 1,000 Bitcoin. We see here that it goes down, and it compares to the past here in 2014, 2018. So basically, if we look here, they're saying that historically the start of a decline in the number of Bitcoin whales have often signified increased interest from retail investors and the beginning of a run-up to a market top. This trend runs contrary to popular sentiment, which says that sell pressure from whales derives the price down. So it's interesting, right? Because you're looking at the whales, you're saying if the whales get out of the market, they must know something. And you're expecting the price to go down, and it goes up. Well, markets have the tendency of reacting the opposite of what you believe it will happen. Keep that in mind. That's also with this fear, because at this point, when you go to 80 or something like that, you'll see that this is the greed part. It's people are greedy. They're saying that it will go up much more. They're expecting to go upper and upper and upper, and actually it will go down. So, and here the other way around, when you have very big fear on the market, everybody's expecting to go even lower and lower and lower, and they're selling, they're buying here, they're selling here, and they're expecting the price to go even lower. And of course it doesn't. It goes upper, and they're losing money. So the prices, the markets do have the tendency of doing that, and they're saying basically that the tendency here might be related to going to a new all-time high, but I think it's a stretch. It might be interesting to watch. While the current decline is slow and it's still in its early stages, it might signify the beginning of another bull run. Investors should keep a close eye on the metric. What can I say? It might be, but on the other hand, it's still too soon. I mean, we even in the last bull run, they're saying here, and bam, it went up. But we had periods that it went down a little bit, upper again, and stuff like that. So here. So it's I think it's way too soon to tell. But of course, I like Glassnode, and the fact the more data you have and to play with, of course, it's better. However, it doesn't come cheap. I think the Glassnode, for example, in this indicator, requires a professional license, and this license is $600 per month. So what can I say? Okay, now let's talk about regulation. So basically, you know that this year has been a good year. I mean, in terms of in historical terms, we had a lot of progress. We had a huge progress this year, and actually, we've seen a few things that will remain to history. Maybe one of it will be named cryptocurrency day or something like that. So I'm talking about when the U.S. government gave a green light to banks to custody crypto, and also we had the first crypto bank, Kraken, becoming a bank. So it's the first one. I think this is huge. I mean, this is huge, and they will remain in history. On the other part, we have digital national digital currencies, and we talked in the last video that China has already launched a pilot there with digital yuan, and everybody's trying to keep up, and they're a little bit panicked that they're behind. So they're looking into launching the digital dollar and digital euro, etc. So it has been a good year so far, but one thing is to custody crypto, and by the way, when I'm talking about digital national currencies or CDBCs, basically about central bank digital currencies, it won't be the normal cryptocurrencies that you find on the market, and not decentralized and stuff like, and the good stuff that gives more freedom and control to the people, that basically will give more control to the governments. I do, however, think it's a good thing because it's still digital currency, and it's a good thing for crypto in general because of the fact that it will raise awareness, and it will improve the status quo of crypto in general. So that's the only positive aspect that I see, because other than that, they will have more control over your money with digital currency, their digital currency. But it depends if you care or not, depending on the level of the depth that they want to go into with the control over your money. But that will be interesting to see in the future. It will happen. I mean, the central banks, the digital national currency will happen. That's, from what I see now, it's just a matter of time. Going back to the regulations, basically the first step is to custody, but then you need clarifications and regulations, clear regulations on what can you do with them, how can you trade them, how can you use them, how can you actually gain utility. Because now, as I told you in the previous videos, basically I think that all the cryptos, the prices on the crypto market now is based on speculation alone, because utility hasn't kicked in for any of them. So when utility will kick in, that will be interesting to see, because it will be a price rally that will be started by utility and then pumped by speculation again. And then it will go back to the price of utility or even lower. But basically it will play around, but it will be driven by utility, and by speculation. Now we only have the price driven by the speculation alone, so we'll have two factors that will drive the price up. So it will be interesting to see. However, the regulations are still in the works, and I'm looking at an article from 12th of June, where according to, basically it's a discussion with Craig Dewitt, from Senior Director of Products at Ripple. So according to Craig, the crypto industry requires patience with respect to the regulatory aspects of digital assets. Dewitt in a recent segment was asked whether the steady pace at which things are moving from a regulatory point of view would eventually end up affecting the larger crypto industry. The Director of Products responded that it is of secondary importance, the notion of whether governments, bodies in other countries get there first, as long as the United States is able to get it right. In a sense, Dewitt seems to assure many and counter some who had argued that countries like China are surging ahead the United States with respect to crypto regulations. Expressing his faith and confidence in the country regulators, Dewitt argued that the countries would eventually get a grip on the innovation of digital assets and successfully establish adequate standards. When queried about if things were moving a little too slow, Dewitt cited the example of the growth seen over the past 5 years. He claimed that the digital asset industry was already ahead of its time in terms of development and market engagement, something that was completely unimaginable in 2015. And that's right, I told you there were this year alone, we already saw a lot of development, a lot of good news in this sector. Hence, he believed that in order to make fundamental improvements, proper planning and patience is required so that the changes are impactful with several types of applications. CDBCs and central banks. Speaking about CDBCs, Dewitt suggests that the central banks, if the central banks wanted, they could launch CDBCs within a day without the help of blockchain. However, they haven't taken that step in order to protect the market of commercial banks. He said the reason that they'll hesitate to do that though is because that is going to substantially cut into the market the share of the commercial banks and, these valued added innovative services that the commercial banks can offer that the central bank cannot. Hence, it is difficult for CDBCs to be leveraged on retail-to-retail basis at the moment, he said. Okay, so this is from 12th of June. And now, you know that in the recent video from last week, I showed you that we have Chris Larsen saying that Ripple is considering moving from US because the regulations are going too slow. So, and also Brad Garlinghouse said the same thing. If we look at his thread page, we have a couple of tweets. Lots of speculation last week as Team Ripple considers some very important decisions about our future. I want to clarify a couple of things related to some of what I read. Then, Ripple is a proud US-based company. Ripple abides by and supports critical laws like strong BSA ML controls that keep the bad actors out and consumers safe. We are not looking to evade US regulations. And we actually know that Ripple has been working with regulators and the Fed since a lot of years back, 2014 or something. So certainly they don't want to evade this. They are actually, they want to work with the system, not against the system. They want to improve it. They're taking the mature way in. That's why I think they have a better chance than others. But it still seems that the system is kind of slow. And the next one. However, last week, Doge reports lists 8 separate US regulatory bodies, each with a different view. Crypto is a property. Crypto is a commodity. Crypto is a virtual currency. Crypto is a security, etc. Regulation shouldn't be a guessing game. And he has a link here. Yeah, I imagine the frustration. Probably, that we are looking from outside. We have all of these theories and stuff like that. But from inside, probably it's much more frustrating, especially since probably they see that they're doing a lot of progress and they have a lot of external dependencies and no support or no support to increase to have a better timeline on this. The next one, to make matters worse, some US regulators have already made decisions that actively favor Chinese technologies over US companies, and they're talking about Ethereum and Bitcoin. You'll see in the previous video with the discussion with Chris Larsen, because they're saying that basically the miners have more control in China than US. The other one, then the next one, and I think is the last, the lack of a single national regulatory framework is putting U.S. innovation and U.S. companies at significant disadvantage. All we're asking is a level playing field. If we need to move to another country to get that, then that's the path we'll have to take. So I think that something happened where you've seen that in June. Everything was fine. Everything was fine. It was like you have to have patience, stuff like that. Now we see that we see these statements from Chris Larsen for Brad, and it's interesting because it might show actual frustration from the team. or it might show that something has changed and the need to move faster arrived. Maybe it's driven by China, who actually launched their pilot of digital yuan on since on 12th of October or something like that. I forgot the date, but they actually did launch it. Or they're actually they're seeing all of these discrepancies and lack of organization in the U.S. department, in the United States on regulations, and they don't want to miss a great opportunity. They're seeing a possible blocker in their roadmap, and maybe they're trying to remove the blocker. So definitely it's an interesting progression here since June. It will be interesting to keep looking at it. So the next one is it'll be interesting to correlate with what the Christine Lagarde, the president of the European Central Bank, said. So I've seen here two videos, and I'm going to start with this one on the digital euro.
Based on their determination to effect payments in a digital way, in a cheaper way, in a faster way, in a more secure way. And I think that on all these accounts, a digital currency that falls under the ambit of a central bank is actually addressing all three issues that are on consumers' mind and on European minds. It's not 100% rosy story, because it clearly, number one, it's difficult and it's a time-consuming project. It's not going to happen overnight, if and when it is decided. Number two, if it has great benefits of being cheaper, faster, more secure, and responding to consumers' preferences, it also has its downside. And clearly we need to consider all the consequences that it would have, depending on the way it is tailored, depending on the way it associates our current usual intermediaries, so that we don't disrupt the system. But I think that it is here to stay with us. It's not implemented yet. Decision has not been made yet. We are still in the review and consideration stage, but we've just launched a public consultation so that consumers and Europeans can actually express their preference and tell us whether they would be happy to use a digital euro just in the way they use a euro coin or a euro banknote, knowing that it is central bank money that is available and that they can rely upon.
You mentioned a consultation with the general public, and you always have been a great believer in communication, including with the general public. And you recently mentioned that with regard to the independence of the central bank, there is still accountability, and there is a need to explain.
Okay, so it's an interesting video for sure, and it's interesting that basically she's reinforcing some of the things that we already seen here. They don't want to disrupt the private sector. They don't want to disrupt the current system. That's some consistency there that we see across the board. However, it's interesting to see that basically they're saying it's here to stay. It's here to stay. However, they're consulting with the public. I'm not sure what that means. I mean, it might be something like kind of a reassurance. Don't worry, we'll still be consulting with you. Probably the decision has already been made, but we will consult with you. I'm not sure. This is, of course, this is just speculation, or it sounds like that to me. However, they're still also adding a disclaimer there that it won't happen very overnight, and they're basically saying that they have to consult first and stuff like that. But I think that they're using that as actually an excuse. And another video here.
The ECB, it is our duty to ensure that people have access to riskless, low-cost means of payment, as well as state-of-the-art payment services that reflect our changing economy. And we need to ensure that European payments are fit for a global digital economy so that in the face of changing risks, we can preserve the autonomy of European payments. A potential introduction of a digital euro as a complement to cash, not a substitute, could also allow a public source of outside money to remain at the core of European payment systems. But it could also potentially challenge the role of banks in our financial ecosystem and potentially crowd out private payment solutions. So we are carefully exploring the benefits, risks, and operational challenges of introducing a digital currency. But this is high on the agenda. The ECB, it is.
So we see again consistency on the private sector and stuff like that, disruption, about the disruption and the fact that they're trying to consider for the disruption to not to be very high. However, we see how something interesting here, that basically she's also saying that this is very important in the when if the risks change to be in line with the needs of the digital economy, and not to basically that's from what I see here, or how I see this, is something like, if needed, if external factors come in and this is needed faster, they will do it faster. They can do it faster. They're also waiting on some external factors, be it the possible extension of the global crisis, or maybe how the other central banks, like US and especially China, will actually evolve here. So it might be a problem of competition and the problem of actual financial risks in terms of the crisis. Maybe this is how I see it. However, it is interesting to see basically that this is actually evolving day by day, and we see it seems like a game of cat and mouse, and everybody's trying to see what are the regulations in other countries, who's gonna go next, how it goes in China and stuff like that. So this is it for today. I hope that you enjoyed this video, and if you did, please hit the like button, and also hit the subscribe and the bell notifications to get all the notifications. Also, please share it with your family and friends. And thank you for watching. Have a great day, and see you in the next one.